And let's let the sound of this next bowl take us to the deepest place within us. Namaste, beloveds. It is my joy to introduce and honor our beautiful band here, Jimmy Townsend and the What Else Is Possible Band and Choir. Woo! And if you would all like to please stand and sing the first couple of songs, the words will be on the screen over here.
Costume. 2 beats. 1, 2.
To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to laugh, a time to weep. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time to build up, a time to break down, a time to dance, a time to mourn, a time to cast away stones, a time to gather stones together. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven. A time of war, a time of peace, a time of love, a time of hate, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing, a time to gain, a time to lose, a time to bend, a time to sow, a time to love, a time to hate, a time of peace. I swear it's not too late. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time for every purpose under heaven.
God.
Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Serenity now. God.
Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God grant me difference.
Yes, you are done.
Thank you. That is so good. That song will be in our heads for the whole week, I promise you. While you're on your feet, let's turn to one another and offer the Namaste blessing. Namaste, Neil. Namaste, beautifuls. Namaste, love streamers. Thank you for joining us. Namaste. Ooh. Namaste, choir, band. All right, and as you find your seats, please take a moment to check your cell phone or any other beeping device that you might have and just put it on silent for a little bit. Namaste, beloveds, and happy Father's Day and happy Pride to everyone. I'm Reverend Susan Jones, and I'm the assistant minister here at Awakening Ways Center for Spiritual Living. I use she, her gender pronouns, and the land upon which we gather is the unceded territory of the Chumash and Selenian people. It is my joy to welcome you to the Awakening Ways Center for Spiritual Living, where all that we ask is that you remain open to the possibility of changing your entire life by changing your mind. We exist to raise the vibe, and we envision a joyful, happy world. This service is designed especially for you. Welcome home. We've been waiting for you. We have an affirmation for today, and I invite you to please repeat after me. I relax. I trust. I am spirit-led. I relax. I trust. And so it is. And now I'd like to invite our practitioner of the day, Gina DiGirolamo, who's going to share with us a reading from Ernest Holmes and an opening prayer. And I just want to turn your attention to this little salmon-colored form that's in your program. This is a prayer request form, and we encourage you to fill it out. It could be for yourself or someone else. It could be for the world, whatever you choose. You can fill this out and place it in the offering basket when it comes around, or you can place it in the box on the prayer table over here. You can also email us at info@awakeningways.org. If you remember something during the week or you're on the love stream, send us a prayer request. We get these out to the soul support team immediately as soon as they arrive in the email. We have our beautiful BJ DiGirolamo, who is holding the high watch for us today. So she's holding space and consciousness for this entire service. And then Gina will be available in the lobby after the service for what we would call a 1-minute miracle, where you can sit with her and speak anything that's on your heart, and she will do a prayer with you. And then finally, if anyone's interested in taking a deeper dive, taking a deeper look into beliefs that might be holding you back from your highest good, all of the practitioners and ministers are available for counseling sessions. So just speak with any one of us. Our information's in the programs and everywhere if you would like to set up a session with one of us. And here you go.
Thank you, Reverend Susan. All right, yes, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Thank you for fathering. I'm going to do a little reading from our book of the year, which is 365 Days of Richer Living by Ernest Holmes and Raymond Charles Barker. And today, oops, I had July marked. Maybe I'm supposed to read that, but I'll go to June. Here we go. So June 21st. I know that sickness is unnecessary to God's creation. I accept myself as a healthy, whole person endowed with divine life and the wisdom to maintain it in freedom of action. I am unconvinced by all the reports of disease and their many classifications. I condemn no one who believes them or experiences them, but I am certain that God is unaware of illness. I have faith that intelligence which created my body will maintain it in perfect action if I will cooperate. In me, the spirit of wholeness abides and remains untouched by the errors of body. The Christ in me is never ill and never depleted. God in me is the same yesterday, today, and forever. My life and its health is dependent upon my knowledge of God and my practice of spiritual truth. So I just recognize that truth, that God is all there is, that there is the Christ consciousness, the divine, the life force, the wholeness, the oneness, the love that has created all things, all expressions. It has created me in a unique and individualized way, just as it has created each and every being, everything seen and unseen in a unique, individualized way. And I know that this is the truth, that perfect health is mine, perfect wealth is mine, perfect love is mine, and it's true for all beings. And I know that this entire community is imbued with that life force, and that we are never separate from it. And I know that this day is such a blessing that we are receiving the messages from the divine through Reverend Susan and her talk, through the musicians and the choir, through the gong, through the look in each other's eyes as we gather with fellowship, and we see that loving light within each other's eyes. And that right there is the perfect example of what spirit is. And so I know that we all take this joy and this love and this message out into the world to create the greater good for all beings everywhere. And life is good. And so there's nothing left to do except release this word into the law, knowing that spirit takes care of all things all the time. And we just claim our good by saying, and so it is.
This is a song you're familiar with, just new words.
So you could stand up and join us if you feel brave. Because this is Peaceful, Easy Feeling as interpreted lyrically by Jim Peterson. And it's about releasing your need and surrendering.
I like your purple mountain majesty against the shimmering sun, and I'm gonna sit alone in the desert tonight, a million miles from everyone. Come on. And I get a peaceful, easy feeling, one that's not often found, and it's here where I'm standing on the ground. I found out a long time ago, letting go is good for the soul. But I'm not going anywhere. My heart doesn't want me to go. And I get a peaceful, easy feeling, get a peaceful, easy feeling, one that's not often found, and it's here where I'm standing on the ground. I feel such gratitude to be here tonight. And there's one thing that I know, the silence opens up the doorway to my truth, and it fills me with a sense of coming home. 'Cause I get a peaceful, easy feeling, one that's not often found, and it's here where I'm standing. Yes, it's here right where I'm standing. And now I know that I'm standing on the ground. And it is so.
Wow. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that was so beautiful. Jim, beautiful, beautiful. And, you know, I just want to say, you'll figure this out later when I do my talk, but this whole experience is kind of an example of what I'm going to be talking about. And, Jimmy, I want to really acknowledge you because besides being a teacher, you are allowing the creativity of the people in your midst. And by doing so, you are growing them and you are blessing all of us. So thank you, Jimmy. All right, so our seed of awakening for this month is spiritual surrender. And we're studying this book by Tasha Silver called Outrageous Openness. And today I get to talk about surrender in daily life, which I love. And I really love Tasha's take on surrender. So, because I think a lot of people think of surrender as like giving up, the last resort. Like I've tried everything and I give up. But Silver describes surrender not as passively giving up, but as a daily spiritual practice of handing over control, attachment, or anxiety to what she calls the divine or the divine beloved. What if surrender was our first resort instead of our last resort? What kind of a life would that be like? You know, surrendering is offering your problems, not denying them. Now, in thinking about surrender in relationships, the very first thing to me that came to my mind was this book called Let Them, written by Mel Robbins. If you guys know who Mel Robbins is, she's a very inspired speaker, podcaster. And I saw her being interviewed when this book was coming out, and I loved the story she shared about how it came to be. So her son was a senior in high school, and he was planning his prom. And she was getting involved in every darn detail. She was like telling him what to wear, what kind of flowers to get for his date, where to go to dinner. She was just on him, just driving him crazy. And at one point, her older daughter pulled her aside and said, "Mom, just let them." and something went off in Mel's mind. And it inspired her to write a whole entire book about this subject. And so I would say that if let go and let God is a good mantra for allowing spirit, I would say let them is the perfect mantra for surrendering in our relationships. Now, I have a couple of sister stories because I spent pretty much a whole week with my sister Ann, and she's full of great stories. So one of them is super funny. She has a really good friend who loved that book so much that she had let them tattooed on her inside of her arm, right, to remind her. Well, they were just probably a couple weeks ago, they were having lunch together, and her friend was going on and on about how her grandson is dating this girl who's part of a religious community, a religion that this lady wasn't super fond of. And she was going on and on about how her grandson is wanting to join this religion, and what is going to happen? We're going to lose him. They're going to take over, and we'll never see him again, on and on. And Anne is just sitting there looking at her like, and then she goes, Deb, what's that tattoo on your arm? And Deb looks down and she goes, oh, let them. And Anne said, yes. So if you take this fear into your relationship with your grandson, you could absolutely lose him. But if you take this mantra into that relationship, you have a really good chance of having everything be just totally fine. Now, this is funny because it just reminds us that we need reminding. You know, just because we get an aha and we get all inspired about something, it doesn't mean that we don't have to be reminded later. Either we remind ourselves or somebody else reminds us. That's why we're here together. Now, when I was 16, going on 17, I moved up to San Francisco. I had friends up there, but I basically packed up my car and moved. And my dad was not pleased at all. He was very frightened for me. But I moved up there, and shortly after I got there, he flew up to San Francisco. He took me to a really nice restaurant, and he sat across from me. And he had this glass of water in his hand, and it was shaking like this. He was just like, ah. It's like all of his emotions were in this glass of water. And he looked me in the eye, and he said, not one dime. And I said, what? Not one dime. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, I will not give you one dime to help you live up here in San Francisco. But one thing I will do is I will buy you a plane ticket home. Now, this is an example, really, of my dad surrendering to me, but also holding his truth, standing his ground, but giving me an escape hatch. And what that did for me was it allowed me to have the bravery and the courage to actually be successful in San Francisco. I was successful. But also in the back of my mind, I knew my dad had my back, right? I knew that I had that support from him back there behind me. So Tasha would say that the surrender version of this, the question is, I have to make this person understand me. And the surrender version is, may I offer this relationship and my need to control it. Show me what love and wisdom looks like. Now, you guys, most of you know that Larry and I were foster parents for a really long time, and I've shared stories about let them with these kids. One of the things that I can really remember is a lot of kids didn't feel comfortable sleeping in a bed like we would, quote, normally do, getting between the covers. So a lot of kids slept on top of the bed, and some even wanted to sleep on the floor. Well, Larry and I were totally okay with that. Like, we didn't force kids to sleep in the bed a certain way because we were trying to give them an opportunity to just feel comfortable and to feel safe. So we didn't make that an issue. The other thing we learned was about natural consequences. So we were trained as foster parents not to pile on consequences. Now, this could be an interesting thing for any of you guys who have not thought of this, but let's say they get in trouble at school. We were trained not to pile on consequences. So we were not then going to ground them or punish them for having a problem at school because school was already giving them consequences. So the surrender of our need to parent or tell them what is right, surrendering to natural consequences, allowed us to be kind of alongside them. So when they were complaining about how, they have to do detention or they have to do extra homework, or for the kids that were in sports, maybe they would lose their right to play sports, we could be alongside them going, man, that's too bad. Like, what could you do? How could you make it right? So we turned out to be like the good guys on the good side, rather than people handing out more punishment. We became helpers and encouragers. So what is the benefit of surrendering in relationships? Well, for one, it released the need to manage other people. And that really does take a big load off of your own shoulders. You're trusting the divine that's unfolding in lives, in people's lives, trusting their path that they're on. It allows people the dignity of their own choices, and it honors them. And it conserves your energy to do what is yours to do. Right? It's a win-win for both people in the relationship. And in reality, when we're surrendering in our relationships, we're really surrendering to the divine, because at the deepest place, that's who we all are, right? And then I started thinking about surrender in the present moment. That's my favorite thing. So this is being present to life with a capital L. A couple of places where I've lived in my life, we had a swimming pool, and one of my favorite things to do was float on a raft in the pool. And one of the reasons why I love that so much is, let's just say, if I was sitting in the backyard in a chair, I would sit there for a minute and think, I got to change the laundry. I have to pull something out of the freezer for dinner later. I've got to do, on and on. I'm busy bee buzzing all around my house. But when I would get on that raft, you have to get in the water and then get up on the raft. It's kind of a hassle to get back out and dry off. So I would stay in the pool. It was like a way I forced myself to just relax and be in the moment and just lay there and look at the sky and listen to the birds and listen to the sound of a bee buzzing around. This is surrendering to my will or my agenda or whatever, right? And it is a beautiful, beautiful thing to do. So one of my favorite things now, because I've learned this from my friend Kat over here, is that she taught me that when she's in traffic and somebody's driving fast and they cut in front of her, she says to herself, "Thank you for showing me what I look like when I'm in a hurry." Don't you love that? Again, surrendering to this experience, surrendering to your need to be mad and grouchy that somebody, and then finding gratitude in it. I mean, it is so beautiful, and I do that now, and I need to do that. That's something for sure. I have this swing in my backyard that's like a glider swing, and it's almost like my little raft. For some reason, when I get in my swing and I start swinging, I do allow myself to just surrender my to-do list, surrender my agenda, and just be there and look out and listen and really use my 5 senses. You guys kind of know that I'm big on that. And one of the things that I do quite often, especially if I wake up in the middle of the night, and anybody do that and start thinking about a bunch of stuff? Yeah, it's a thing, right? So when that happens to me and I catch myself thinking, what I do is I just go to my five senses. I ask myself, okay, what am I feeling right now? I feel the bed underneath me, and it's so supportive. I feel these sheets. They're so soft and cool. I have a fan in my bedroom. I feel that air on my face. By the time I'm done sort of inventorying what I'm experiencing, I'm asleep, and I've forgotten all about all this stuff that was keeping me awake, like solving the problems of the world and those kinds of things. What are the benefits of surrendering to the moment? Surrendering to the moment, well, first of all, it's awareness of spirit. So when I'm sitting there in my swing and I'm seeing birds and I'm feeling the air and I'm seeing clouds, I am feeling the presence of God in my life. And that is beautiful. It also creates peace and calm and relaxation for me. And in a lot of ways, it's a bonding experience in our relationships with people. So, surrendering in everyday circumstances, Tasha Silver grounds spirituality in mundane moments: traffic, frustration, loneliness, work stress, awkward conversations, unmet expectations. And then rather than fighting reality, she encourages pausing and inwardly offering the moment. She suggests mentally offering worries, desires, or dilemmas to the divine instead of gripping them tightly. If you're worried about money, offer the fear and ask for guidance. If you're having a relationship struggle, offer the need to control another person. Think about that for a minute. If there's career uncertainty, offer the pressure to make life happen. Tasha's orientation is, I do my part, but I stop acting as if I alone control the entire result. Now, years ago, well, I would say it was 25 years ago, my sister, and she was friends with, and still is friends with, a man named Michael Muir. And Michael is the great-grandson of John Muir, who's the famous naturalist. Well, Michael Muir is a breeder of horses, and they are fabulous horses. I can't even tell you the kind they are, but they're not exactly drum horses, but they're called Stonewall Stallions or something. It's a breed that he's sort of created. But anyway, they're sort of draft horses. And Michael has had MS since he was 15 years old. So when Anne and Michael were friends, he was wheelchair bound. Yet he is so passionate about horses. So he created these carriages that allow wheelchairs to wheel up into them so that you can drive the horses, even if you have a disability. And so he was inspired to create this horse journey across America, starting in California and heading to Washington, D.C. And he asked my sister if she would consider being one of the very few able-bodied support people. She would be driving a truck, and the horse journey would be going across the United States. All the people in the horse journey were disabled in some way, blind, deaf, physically disabled in some way or shape or form. They would be doing the journey, but there would be support. Well, Anne was having a hard time because she was a school teacher, and she found herself one day speaking with this man named Bernard, who was going on the trip. He was from Germany, and he was in a wheelchair. And they were speaking to each other, and she said, Bernard, all I've done is work. Like, I went to college, and when I got out of college, I got a job as a teacher. I've been teaching ever since. I don't know what it's like to not work, and I'm kind of scared about that. This would have required her to take a leave of absence from teaching. And she said, all I know is work. And Bernard said, I was the same way. He said, I worked all the time. And I worked because I wanted money for my son. I wanted to support my family. And so I worked and worked and worked. And then he reached down and he patted his wheelchair. And he said, "This happened on my way to work." And in that moment, Anne said, yes, yes, to the horse journey. You know that was a divine experience. We know that because we're smart, right? At the moment, I don't think Anne knew that was divine, but it was so divine because what they did in this journey, this was to raise awareness to the abilities of disabled people. And so they went across the United States and went to hospitals and nursing homes and other places and offered the opportunity for people to get up into these carriages and to drive these most beautiful horses, or to just pet the horses and be around the horses, right? And this experience changed my sister, changed her for the good. She has an increased capacity for compassion and love and understanding for people that she didn't know very much about before this journey. So this really was an experience of surrender to what was up for her to be doing. In Tasha's book, she explores the idea that life might be wiser than our plans. What do you think? I think so. I think life with a capital L is wiser than our plans. And so her invitation is just to stay radically open to unexpected help, redirection, or outcomes that differ from what the ego imagined, right? And Ernest Holmes would say, release your attachment to how things must unfold. Trust the intelligence that's already operating through life. Listen inwardly for guidance. Then take the next right step with confidence, knowing that Spirit works through willing participation. And this month, we're using prayer as a practical tool. So Tasha Silver has something she calls Change Me prayers. And she turns surrender into a short, usable prayers for everyday life. Instead of make this happen, the tone becomes more like, change me into one who can trust, receive, or serve what is highest here. Her prayers are often framed as inner transformation rather than controlling external conditions. Work, finances, health, love, and self-worth are all approached this way. And I am going to have some homework for us towards the end of this talk, but right now I just want to circle back to Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all of you who are fathers, stepfathers, adoptive fathers, foster fathers, to those who have fathers, and those who have played the role of father in someone else's life, which is basically all of you. And no matter how you feel about your father, he made it possible for there to be you. And for that, I am so, so grateful. For most of us, there's a host of people that provide the qualities of the Divine Father to us, and they could be men or women. In fact, there are many families where the role of mom and dad are played by the same person. So I want to take a moment and honor these people by speaking their names into the room. So we're just going to take a moment and just softly mention the names of the people who have fathered you. Yeah. And then close your eyes if you're comfortable and place your hand over your heart. And just repeat after me. I love you, Father. I accept you, Father. Thank you, Father. I am whole, perfect, and complete. I accept myself exactly as I am. All of my needs are met. I am one with my source. And you can open your eyes now. We are all born with everything we would ever need, masculine and feminine energy. And then society starts telling us who we are and what we should do and what we are capable of. But because there's only one thing, God, spirit, or whatever you call it, that thing possesses both feminine and masculine qualities. We are made by and of that, so we contain those qualities too. Within each and every one of us live all the magnificent qualities of God, equally, fully, and without regard to gender or race. When we can accept that this is the truth, collective consciousness and the beliefs handed down within our families definitely push an agenda that women are one way and men are another. But God created you for a purpose, and it might not just jive with what society tells you about you. There's a place within us that knows the truth and sends us out to find it for ourselves. Just like water seeks balance and level, our spirit within us is always seeking that same balance of masculine and feminine for us to feel at ease. We search for what makes us feel complete, the female and male attributes of the divine. And at Awakening Ways Center for Spiritual Living, we celebrate and honor each unique individual expressing their own truths, not just during Pride Month, but every single day. And I'd like to invite the band to come up now and get settled, and I'll share your homework, also known as the call to action. So this month we've been following a spiritual surrender calendar. If you haven't seen it, it's available on our website, and it's on the table over here too. There are things to do every single day this month. So I'm going to share with you what is being called for this next week. Number 1, spend 10 minutes in silence asking, what do you want me to know? I love that one. Number 2, notice synchronicities or gentle nudges throughout the day. Number 3, follow one intuitive impulse that you might normally ignore. Number 4, journal the question, where is spirit leading me now? Number 5, practice the week 4 prayer before making any decisions, and I'll say what that is in just a minute. Number 6 is walk in nature and listen for inner guidance. And number 7, share a story of being led by spirit with someone. And the Change Me prayer is, change me, divine beloved, into one who is joyfully led by spirit. Change me into one who hears your still small voice and follows with trust. That's so beautiful. And I'd like to just finish with a prayer treatment. So if you feel comfortable closing your eyes, just take a deep breath and relax into your chair. Tune into your 5 senses and just notice the chair underneath you, how it supports you. Notice the feeling in the room, the air in this room. There is a gentleness here that is felt. And I know that the feeling that we feel, that gentleness, is the presence of the divine. It is the energy of spirit, which is right here, right now. It is always, always present, and yet we don't always tune into it. But in this moment, I know and declare that spirit is right here, in, around, through, and as each person. And I know that the spirit and the love of the divine is calling us to surrender our puny little plans and our our must-have to-dos and all those things that we place on ourselves. Spirit is saying, come play with me. Come hang out with me. It might be in the form of a person that you're spending time with. That is God saying, play with me. Hang out with me. And I know that we are all tuned into this now. I know that we are looking for these moments to surrender to the divine, surrender to that which is greater and bigger than anything we could ever imagine. I know that each person here has trust in that divine process because we know that God only says yes to us. And it only has our highest good in mind. I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for knowing that Spirit is constantly showing me what is there for me, showing me the big picture, showing me the good that is there for me. And I'm grateful that that's true for all of us. So grateful. And I know that when I speak my word of truth into the creative action of the law, of course God says yes. There's no other option. And so I give thanks for that. And I release this prayer, and together we say, and so it is. Namaste.
I'm just making sure she's done. This next song is from a really great movie. We'll have a test after this. You can tell us if you know which one it was from. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Raindrops keep falling on my head, just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bread. Nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I just did me some talking to the sun, and I said I didn't like the way he got things done, sleeping on the job. So raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. But there's one thing I know, the blues they send to meet me won't defeat me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Mine's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free. Nothing's worrying me.
But there's one
Thing I know, the blues they send to meet me won't defeat me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, so I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free. Nothing's worrying
Thank you. That was beautiful. All right, now is our time for conscious giving. So I'd like to invite our ushers to please come forward. We have beautiful Kat, and we have beautiful Jin. Thank you so much. If this service has inspired you in any way, we gratefully accept your contributions, and you can do that here in the room. If you want to press the QR code on the back of your program, you can do that electronically. There's lots of ways. PayPal.me/Awakening Ways. All right, and just know, I just want to ask you to imagine that every dollar that you give to Awakening Ways actually heals somebody, because that's what's really happening. All right, so take your gift, whatever you brought with you, and place it over your heart and repeat after me. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world and returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need.
It's my favorite part. Okay. All right, so I am just so grateful for everything that's in this basket, for all the financial abundance that's here, and as Reverend Susan said, I just know it heals so many, everyone in this room and beyond. And I know that all the prayers that are in this basket are already received and answered by the divine, and I'm just so grateful for all of it. So I just bless it and release it and let it go and claim God's good by saying, and so it is.
Thank you, Gina. I'd like to invite our announcements angel, Mary Bishop, to come on up. Yay, Mary. Here you go, love.
Good morning. So, since there are so many ways to keep up with all our happenings here at Awakening Ways, like the purple page in your program, and the screen is rolling them through as we have our socializing afterwards. So, and also the e-news, the Awakening Ways e-news. So I'm just going to highlight this coming week's upcoming events. Tomorrow evening, June 22nd at 6 p.m., Doreen Garvin is hosting Singing as a Spiritual Practice Connection Circle at our center. This is a really wonderful experience. Please come if you haven't come before. You don't have to know the songs. It's one of my favorite things that we do here. On Tuesday at 11 a.m., Reverend Susan and practitioner B.J. DiGirolamo will be facilitating the monthly Spiritual Living and Prayer Connection Circle. All are welcome to both. The bi-monthly Echo Meal night is Thursday evening beginning at 4:30. This is a great day to sign up to either prepare a meal, serve a meal, or do both. And there's a sign-up sheet right over there, and we still need a few things, like another person on salads and some desserts. So please take a look, and that is also a wonderful experience. Next Sunday here at the Pavilion is the Spiritual Sprouts program, and our musical guest will be the one and only Travis Hogue. After the service will be the monthly Divine Sparkles Wisdom Circle. Also, next weekend is the Slow Pride celebrations. Saturday, the 27th, is Pride in the Plaza from 11 to 5, and then Sunday is Trans Pride in the park from 1 to 6 at Meadow Park. Come out and support our presence as we will have a booth at both events. You may have heard this fall we're launching Wisdom Well workshops and inviting members of our community to donate their time and talents by leading fun, inspiring workshops between August 2026 and March 2027. These community-led workshops create opportunities to learn, connect, and grow together while raising funds for Awakening Way Center for Spiritual Living. Workshop leaders generously donate their expertise, and 100% of workshop proceeds directly support the center and its mission. Applications are being accepted now, and they are also over on the table with more information. Awakening Ways, CSL, and Reverend Elizabeth are featured in the CSL Goodness campaign in the current issue of Science of Mind magazine. You can pick up your copy for $12 at the back table and check us out. You can also pick up a copy of the book of the month, Outrageous Openness, Letting the Divine Take the Lead. I'm loving reading this book. It is so, so good. Let's celebrate all our volunteers and staff for making this service possible and give them a big shout out.
All right, let's circle up for our benediction and call and response. Make a circle. I have to read this. All right. Okay, won't you know with me that you are never alone, that God is where you are right now and always. And all that we ever need to do is turn within. It is here we will find that we are guided, sustained, directed, and inspired by a source that knows only good. Joyously, let us make use of these gifts in all that we think, in all that we say, and in all that we do. Please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening as me right now. Something wonderful is happening as me right now. It is this thing called life. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in my body. Life is in my pocketbook. Life is in my relationships. I think it. I feel it. I believe it. I express it. I accept it. Just the way that it is. And just the way that it is not. Thank you, life.
May I be filled with love and kindness.